What you're about to witness is a couple of seconds of me recording my first ever YouTube video.
Next thing in my EDC is my AirPods Pros, and I use them mainly for podcasts or listening to TV shows on the train.
Just 8 months after this video was recorded, I became financially free using YouTube AdSense money alone. Before this, I tried to start a bunch of businesses. I tried to do freelance coding for a while. I spent over a year learning web design. I spent an entire summer trying to make Android apps only to never use that knowledge again. And I finally landed on some success when I started making content. Content is non-negotiable because whenever you want to sell something, you have to get eyeballs on it. And getting eyeballs using content is the best way by far. Everyone is making content for a reason, because even if you were to pay someone the same amount you'd pay for advertising to make a piece of content for you, that piece of organic content would get more eyes on your thing that you're trying to sell than spending that money on ads. To start making money using content, there are 3 rules that you must understand. The first rule is that you are always just one piece of content from becoming financially free. The second rule is that you don't need nearly as many subscribers or views as you think you need to break free and start making full-time money from this. Most YouTubers aren't monetizing even close to how well they could be monetizing. This channel, at the time of recording, only gets about 500 views on the average video, and yet I still have enough views to start a pretty successful coaching business. And the third rule, and the one that will take the longest to explain, is that you don't need to be special. All you need is consistency and 1% iterative improvement. Once you have those 2 things, it's literally just a matter of time, but it's not quite that simple, so let me explain further. To become consistent, you must develop an unshakable belief. A belief that's so strong that no matter how long you don't get results, you never quit. It's really hard to instill this belief in you in just one video, but hopefully that clip at the beginning helped you a little bit. Because after that clip was recorded, for 4 straight consistent months, I got 0 subscribers on my YouTube channel, even though I was constantly recording videos and working every day on it. Yet, just 4 months after that, I became financially free using just YouTube AdSense alone. That's the power of consistency and iterative improvement. Because the improvement curve is exponential, at first you won't see that many tangible results, but then it's going to explode. You are no different from me, and the reason people quit is just because they haven't been going long enough yet. They just haven't crossed the improvement threshold, the invisible line that they need to get to start getting some sort of success. That's it. It's nothing to do inherently with you or who you are as a person. Get rid of that notion entirely. Anyone that does these things will eventually get success. Everything that's required to succeed on YouTube or social media can be learned. There's no elusive quality that you think you might need. Belief is important because the lack of belief is what makes you quit. There's a bar of belief that you have, and as soon as that reaches 0, you're going to stop and you're never going to achieve the dream that you have. Every time that I considered quitting, it was right after I suffered a massive blow to my confidence because I just put loads of work into something and didn't see the results that come from it immediately. Get used to it because those blows are normal and those blows happen all the time. And before you see any sort of success, you're going to get tons of them. The universe is going to test you to see if you truly deserve it, and you can't let it break you. Every time you suffer one of those blows, just keep going because everyone else is suffering them too, except the difference between you and them is that they quit, but you won't. After belief, you need to get knowledge that actually allows you to improve your content. And this might be hard to do, especially if you're working a 9 to 5 right now, and you might not have that much time because any free time you do have, you want to spend working. So spend your time getting this knowledge in times where you can't really work, such as in the car, watch a podcast, or when you're on the train, read a book that could help you. Fit learning in wherever you can, just in times where you wouldn't really be able to work, but that you're not really doing a whole lot anyway. Just make the commitment to start making content and never stop. once you get started, stopping will be harder than starting ever was, even if you're still getting 0 views. That period where you break through and finally start getting some sort of views feels so good, and that time is coming to you as long as you commit to those 2 things. I remember when that happened to me, I'd gone through like 3 different styles of content, and I'd made each style for about a month and a half before I tried the next one. It took a lot of improvement before I started deserving the views. It feels so good when all of that hard work finally pays off and you slowly start to get a subscriber every now and then you start getting a subscriber every single day. Then all of a sudden you're getting 100 a day, and all of a sudden your dream is starting to come true. I want that for you. I want you to feel that feeling, and to get that, all you need is consistency and iterative improvement. It also helps to quit your vices, because every vice that you have, whether it's porn, games, eating junk, just wasting your time on TikTok, whatever it is, every vice you have is like a real vice, squeezing your ballsack and cutting your potential in half. So get rid of as many vices as you can whilst you're doing this. When I started getting success, I still hadn't quit all of them, but I had made massive strides towards quitting them. Quitting your vices is like a quick, easy shortcut to success, because all you have to do is to just not do something. If you keep these things in mind, at some point of being consistent and improving, you will begin to have an audience. For a beginner, this can take anywhere between 6 to 12 months, but it might take you longer, and there's no shame in that because everyone starts at different points. I mean, just look at the start point that I had. But regardless, now the hard part is done. Now you need to convert that existing audience that you have into a consistent income that will allow you to quit your job and live whatever life you want to live. You can do this by building a product for your existing audience. And if you have a large audience, you can do either a high ticket or a low ticket product, but most likely you're going to have a small audience at the beginning. And for that, it's best to have a high ticket product because it allows you to make the most out of the 1% of your audience that actually do end up buying something from you. Making a product doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need some massive sales page to start. All you really need is something. It's really important not to overthink it too much because a lot of people do. They see the sales pages, the products that a lot of established creators have, and they've spent years creating those products. They had to start somewhere too. Your product doesn't necessarily have to be a course either. It could be something as simple as making a Shopify page and charging someone $100 for like a YouTube channel review or something like that. It can be that simple. You can also do coaching. It's really up to you. My first YouTube channel, the one that freed me from the 9-to-5 life, was all about game development. I would just do game development logs essentially. I would just talk about the games that I would make, and then I eventually ended up making a game that I was going to sell. And before that game started selling, I also made money from AdSense and a few other small income sources, and that's what actually allowed me to keep doing it. But when that game released, because of the size of the audience, it made $100,000 in 1 month. That's the power of building an audience. So after you have your audience, make a product that works, and start making money, you can go part-time on your job to start focusing a bit more on this. The time to do this varies between people, and you know what kind of stage you're going to feel comfortable at to do this. And you might be able to skip this stage entirely and just quit your job. But what going part-time does is it suddenly frees up 2 to 3 additional days per week that you can focus on your business essentially, and it basically gives you twice the time to work on it, so it's going to really accelerate your results. And you might be a bit confused because you might have a 9-to-5 job right now and you might have some other commitments, which means you probably don't have that much time to work on this right now. But the truth is, you don't need that much time. I only spend about 2 hours a day on these videos, and I get 3 of them out every week. That means no matter how busy your schedule is, you can get at least 1 video out. You have an hour somewhere in your day that you can put into this. Back when I worked my 9-to-5 job, I spent 8.5 hours at work, 3 hours commuting back and forth from that job, 1 hour working out, and I still found the time. If you're currently in a situation that you don't really want to be in, you might be masking the pain of that situation with vices. Those vices are using your valuable time up, and to truly succeed, you're going to have to free up that time, which means you're going to have to face that pain of your current situation head on. But this isn't as bad as it sounds, because once you start working, there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, and that will make the pain go away. Except this time, that pain will go away for real, instead of being masked by cheap pleasures. After this, slowly work on replacing that part-time job with entirely content. This shouldn't take too long, because now you literally have double the time to work on your business. And because of that, it won't be too long before you can quit your job and go to Bali to work on your laptop, or whatever dream life you've been envisioning after you achieve this. I'm gonna finish recording this video in about 10 minutes, and it won't even be 10 AM. After that, I'm gonna shut down my work for the day and just go to the gym and live my life. I used to hate the fact that someone could tell me what to do and I couldn't do anything about it. Back before I even started my 9-to-5 job and I was still in university, I used to work in TK Maxx. It's like a cheap clothes shop, which obviously attracts the worst types of people, and I used to have absolute assholes coming in and treating me like dog shit. But because I needed the money to get through university, I couldn't just tell them to get fucked. I just had to take it. I hated that life. I hated being controlled because none of my life was my choice. I would go to work because if I didn't, I would get fired. I would go to university because if I didn't, my parents would get mad at me. I was working extra hours that I didn't really want to do at my 9-to-5 job because if I didn't, my boss would get mad at me. I was eating shit, watching porn, and playing games that I didn't even enjoy anymore because if I didn't do those things, I would have to face the state of my fucked up mind. Now I completely control my day. Everything I do because I deem it to be beneficial to me, not because someone else told me to do it. I earn orders of magnitude more money than I did at my 9-to-5 job, and I do it working less hours. There isn't any fucked up stuff going on in my mind anymore, because if there's something going on in my life that I don't like, I don't have to put up with it. I can just change it. If there's a birthday, wedding, or event that I want to go to, I can just go. I don't have to ask my second dad for permission. There's this feeling that I used to get when I woke up and I had to do something that day, like go to work or school. I haven't felt that feeling in years, and I want the same for you. Refuse to let anybody control you. Become a leader, a visionary. Carve out your own path instead of having someone made for you like the majority of people. Fuck the traditional path. Join me on this path. You've got a better attention span than most of the population if you've watched this video all the way through. Use that to your advantage. It's 10 AM. I've just finished recording this video, and in a 9-to-5 job, I would just be about an hour or two into my workday at this point. And it's a nice sunny day right now. I'd have to miss this entire day pretending to work, but now I can go to the gym. Come with me. Right, bro. Let's go fucking grind. It's another running day, unfortunately. I did go and lift yesterday, but because these videos come out on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, those are my running days, and those are the days I record my videos. So I'm not sure what to do. I might have to start recording a day earlier so that you can actually see me lift instead of just run. I'm a bit annoyed at myself because last night I went to bed quite late. Like, I wake up at 5 AM to do all this, and I still do wake up at that time. It's just I went to bed at 11 PM, so I only had 6 hours of sleep, and that obviously fucks up your work a little bit. So I'm a bit annoyed at myself for that. That's something I need to work on. I still do that sometimes. I've been back in England for about 5 days now, and today is literally the first time I've seen sun. I forgot how cloudy this country was, and every time I look at that cloudy sky, I remember where I just came back from. I just spent 4 months in Thailand, in case you're new and you've not, you don't know. But every time I look at that sky, I just think of booking a ticket and going straight back. I do know though that when I was out there, I didn't work as well, and it's because there is so much to do over there that you're basically out every day doing fun shit. And that can be a problem if you're trying to be as productive as possible. And the reason the UK is good is precisely because there's fucking nothing to do. So all there is to do is focus on the business. It's funny because I've been lifting now, like I used to lift when I was younger, but I've been lifting consistently for just under 4 years now. And every now and again, I realize just how much muscle I've built, and that I'm actually I look pretty good now. Most of my life, I've been a chubby little boy, so it's quite nice seeing the progress that I've made. Anyway, I'm gonna be at the gym in 10 minutes. I will speak to you then. It's funny because this car is actually in dire need of petrol right now, but every time I think about getting petrol, I realize that I'm gonna have to take about 20 additional minutes out of my schedule to go and get the petrol, and I'm trying to follow my schedule as strictly as possible. So I really don't want to do that. I'm putting it off as long as I can. Don't want the petrol stealing my business gains, you know? I forgot my water bottle. That run felt like an eternity today. Don't know what was up. That run felt like an eternity today. Sometimes I don't know what it is, but what that got me thinking was, in a way, doing this long, uninterrupted cardio can help quite a lot with your work, like being productive, especially if you're starting your own business and all that. Much like in a business, whilst you're running, you're doing something slightly uncomfortable for a long period of time, and you're training to be able to do that. So take up running. It's good for your heart and it's good for your work. I'm caving in. We're running a bit early today, so I'm actually going to go get petrol because we are getting into dangerous territory. So I'll see you at the petrol station. Petrol has been acquired. Let's make our way back home and have a meal, a big fat post-workout meal. I really need a better mounting solution than this. Every now and again I look back at the camera, it's like, whoa. Look at that, bro. Meat and berries, just like our ancestors. Fred Flintstone would be proud. In the interest of transparency, you know, these sections are to show you that I do the daily actions. They're to show you that what life can look like essentially after you make it. But in the interest of transparency, I did want to tell you that I caved yesterday and I had some M&Ms. I know, right? Fucking hell, Brian's business career is over. He had some M&Ms, but it was the blue ones, and the blue ones are just so good. And my brother came downstairs, offered me some, and I couldn't resist. So I just thought I'd tell you that. I'm not invincible, guys. I have M&Ms too, don't worry. Hand it over to the other Brian now. If you resonate with this message, welcome. You are like us. In September of 2021, I finally managed to break free and start my new life. I was reborn. My hope is that this channel can shorten your journey as much as possible so you can start living this life. So if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel and I'll see you in the next one.